exciting. Wow.
No, it's exciting.
Look at this.
During a visit to a Chinatown construction site this afternoon, Martha Coakley was aggressively upbeat.
Today's the first day of the rest of this campaign.
That's right.
I could not be more energized.
Right.
Coakley's good cheer follows a spate of bad headlines. Recent polls have shown Republican Charlie Baker pulling ahead of Coakley. And Baker was just endorsed by the Boston Globe, which hasn't backed a Republican for governor in 20 years. But today, Coakley scoffed at the idea that Baker has momentum.
We have a great grassroots team. We have called and emailed and talked to so many people around this state. I am totally convinced that we have the momentum here, and I'm going to continue it.
And for the union workers at today's rally, Coakley had a message that was straight from the Elizabeth Warren playbook. She's on the side of the middle class, and Baker isn't.
Who will be a leader to invest in people, early education, earn sick time, making sure people get a fair shot?
That argument was echoed by labor leader Frank Callahan, who said unions will do their utmost to help Coakley win.
Tonight, tomorrow night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, we're going to be pulling out the vote. We're going to make up the difference in this election.
Coakley also took a swipe at former Massachusetts Inspector General Gregory Sullivan, who claims Coakley pressured him to stop looking into the business dealings of former House Speaker Sal DeMacy. Later, DeMacy was convicted on federal corruption charges. Coakley says that accusation is bogus.
I don't know why Greg Sullivan is saying that, but he's absolutely wrong.
That's not the sort of defense that any candidate wants to have to offer, especially in a campaign's final days. But as Coakley prepares to debate Baker in Worcester tonight, she also has some good news. A new poll shows her leading Baker by 4 points. So maybe Coakley's claim of momentum is less far-fetched than it seems.
So who's with me to win?
Yeah, we're with you, Martha.
Thank you very much.
Of course, Martha Coakley was accused after she lost to Scott Brown of basically taking the election for granted and trying to coast through to the finish line. The best case scenario for her here is that these negative developments like the Globe endorsement or the polls that show her struggling will kick her and her supporters into overdrive and, maybe make them finish a little more strongly than they might have otherwise. We shall see in about 8 days.
So on the national level, how are they spinning this Globe endorsement anyway for
Some of
Charlie
the spin
Baker?
I saw last night, and you probably saw it too, was along the lines of, Martha Coakley is such a bad candidate. Not even the liberal Boston Globe is going to endorse her, which I think really does both her and Baker a disservice. I mean, if I were a Baker supporter, I would want to be spinning it saying, not, look, Martha Coakley is incompetent just like she used to be, but basically saying Charlie Baker is so good that the Globe endorsed him first Republican. Right, so moderate, so liberal on social issues. So I'm not sure why there hasn't been more discipline on that front, except really there's something about Coakley that makes the national media and national conservatives want to kind of kick her, even when it's not fair.
We've had this discussion many times. I mean, this is a big endorsement from the Globe. There's no question about that. Don't diminish it at all. But is it significant? I mean, it's significant coming on the heels of that 9-point poll that the Globe did last week showing Charlie Baker that far ahead. But is it?
I feel like I agree with you that endorsements are not always as important as they're made out to be. If they were, then John Connolly would be the mayor of Boston today instead of Marty Walsh. He was endorsed by the Globe. But that being said, especially when there's this sort of pre-established negative narrative about one candidate, as there is with Coakley, I think this endorsement helps feed into the idea that, Coakley just isn't going to be able to pull it off. She can't win this thing, even though, in fact, she can. I also think this one helps a lot because Baker, if he wins, is going to win by getting liberals and moderates who are a little uneasy about voting Republican to vote for him anyway. And in a way, this endorsement gives them permission to do just that.
So this new development on the former Inspector General Greg Sullivan saying, Martha Coakley didn't want us to pursue state allegations against DeMacy. So the feds went ahead and did theirs. But does that ring true?
So it's really what Sullivan is saying. Coakley told me to back off my investigation as IG so that she could pursue her own investigation as AG, and also that she told me she didn't see his words, I think, were a bright line of criminality. I initially thought this was going to be a big deal coming at this late stage in the campaign. Sullivan is respected. When you get into the back and forth of what they're claiming, Sullivan offers a very detailed case for his claims. Coakley has a very detailed case rebutting it. The average voter isn't going to take time to hunker down. It is in the weeds. That being said, Charlie Baker's been arguing all along, we need a GOP governor to be a check on Democrats in the legislature. Otherwise, we get corruption. With this, we have people thinking of Coakley and corruption at the same time, which is good for Baker.
We should say that we're going to be following Charlie Baker later in the week. So, all right. Adam, thanks for that.
Thanks, Emily.